Crimson Desert is about to raise the bar for the entire AAA industry and no one's ready for it. And for what it represents, this game feels like a complete inverse of Highguard, and in today's landscape that alone feels like a guarantee that the game is gonna be good. A vast majority of gamers are just sick and tired of live service games. They have been for a while now. But the big publishers are still hell-bent on pushing live service slop down our throats, and even after failing over and over and over again, they're still doubling down on it. But more on that in a bit. I'm sure you must have watched the Crimson Desert Features Overview series by now. I covered the part 1 on this channel where to talk more about the story, the open world, and the main protagonist of the game. But after that, there have been 2 more videos in the series, one focusing on the combat and progression, and one focusing on life in Fable. And damn, the game looks crazy good. This series answered a lot of questions and cleared up a lot of speculations many people had about the game. Like for example, is this a Souls-like game? What the story is about? What's the deal with all these complex systems? And one more thing they made clear as day is that this is not too good to be true. For the past couple of years, this phrase has been attached to Crimson Desert, and still anytime the game shows off something impressive, everyone goes, this game is too good to be true, there has to be a catch. And not gonna lie, deep down I think that too sometimes, and it really shows how many times the gamers have been burned by AAA games. But now, after Pearl Abyss has dropped a crap ton of raw, unedited gameplay footage, invited tons of people to try the game themselves, and shared an in-depth look at their crazy system so close to the release date, I think they deserve some respect, and at this point we should just admit that the game is simply too good. Too good by modern AAA standards, but it is true. And if the game delivers even 80% of what it's promising, and I think there's a high possibility it will, a lot of AAA publishers are gonna be sweating. Because Crimson Desert already looks like a game that the gamers have been begging for. Let's quickly talk about some of the impressive features and systems they covered in the last 2 videos. First of all is the Greymane scam that is at the center of everything. And just as I predicted in my last video on Crimson Desert, the game features base building and camp customization mechanics. Now initially I expected it to be more like RDR2 with some basic level customization options, but I never thought they would go this deep where you can do all sorts of things from arranging chairs in your tent to farming vegetables and working at the camp ranch. And not just that, as the story progresses and more Greymanes return to the camp, you can also send some of them on faction missions which are kind of similar to the fleet missions in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And what's absolutely wild is that those missions happen in real time. Like, just look at the statue being carved up. Or when you send some of your comrades to clear a camp, you can actually see the battle taking place in real time. This also shows that the world will change and evolve as you progress through the story, and it's some really technically impressive stuff that definitely deserves some praise. Then the one thing that I wasn't expecting at all was a wanted level system. Yeah, this game has that too. Committing crimes will make you a wanted man, and they do get the nose right. It will cause settlements to turn hostile towards you, and if you get caught, you might even have to serve time in a wooden cage. Which is kind of funny because Cliff is literally a wrecking ball but can't just break out of it. Now I don't know how you'll bring your wanted level down, but if I had to guess, there might be some sort of bribing mechanics or tearing down your wanted posters, old Assassin's Creed style. But to be honest, I don't think it'll have any real impact on the game. You'll probably get caught and there'll be a small cutscene of Cliff getting thrown into a jail, maybe a quick time lapse, but that's about it. What does make an impact though is you hitting that subscribe button. So yeah, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel and do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment and all that, thank you. That said, the thing that actually impressed me the most is how they're handling exploration. The fascinating and mysterious open world is filled with meaningful content and not just a Ubisoft-style checklist. What's absolutely mind-blowing is that it's not just treasures, loot, or abyss artifacts scattered around the map, but even some of the movesets can be learned in the open world while fighting enemies. I mean, they could have shoved all the moves into a bloated skill tree, but they didn't, and this shows their focus on exploration and discovery. In my opinion, this genius design choice will also push players to pay attention to the enemies instead of just mindlessly spamming attack and dodge buttons. Then there are special weapons, armor sets, recipes for meals and potions, and even a vast variety of dyes that can be either found in the open world or can be brewed through alchemy. And it's not just a few basic colors either. I mean, just take a look at all the 50 shades of blue here. On top of that, you can also tweak the hairstyles, beards, face tattoos, and even the hair color for the characters. God damn. Now from what they've shown so far, I think this game won't have a real-time hair growth mechanic, and I guess that is the catch. 6 out of 10.
You suck!
There are also some deep customization options for your mounts as well, and if that wasn't crazy enough, you can even pimp out your mech suit. I mean, I would have never even asked for a mech suit in this type of game in the first place, let alone a customizable one. But anyhow, the best part is that everything, every collectible item, every fancy armor, every special weapon, everything is there in the open world waiting to be found, and that's it. Recently, on the Drop Frames podcast, the marketing director Will Powers made it clear that the game will not have microtransactions and cosmetic cash shops at launch. This game is made to be a premium experience that you buy and you enjoy the world, and not something for microtransactions. It's a monetization model. If you do free to play, then you need to make up the revenue in a different way. This is a premium experience, that is the transaction, full stop. Now yes, later on he specified that there won't be any microtransactions at launch, which means they might add some later on, but can you even imagine Ubisoft or Activision saying anything even remotely close to that? This shows the mindset of the leadership over at Pearl Abyss. While other AAA studios build their entire games around microtransactions and games as a service model, Crimson Desert is doing the exact opposite of that. They're just focusing on the single player experience. The guys at Pearl Abyss understand that when they're charging a premium price for the game, then that should be it. That mindset makes all the difference, and not gonna lie, that's something I wasn't expecting at all. I honestly fully expected the game to have some sort of cosmetic shop or resource bundles because Pearl Abyss has mainly worked on Black Desert Online in the past, and initially Crimson Desert was also gonna be an MMORPG as well, but they completely pivoted back in early 2021 and entered the AAA single player space instead. And that right there shows that these guys understand the market. In fact, they understood it back in 2021, and that's something that cannot be said for the Western AAA studios. And I would say that's the reason why this game has now pierced the mainstream. Especially after the features overview series, the game has absolutely just blown up. This shows that there is a huge demand for these type of single player games, but I genuinely don't know how else can you explain this to the tone-deaf leadership at the Western AAA companies that are still desperately trying to push for live service games. I mean, just look at Sony. Out of all the studios they could have shut down, out of all the projects they could have cancelled, they shut down Bluepoint Studios, the studio behind the Shadow of Colossus and the Demon's Souls remake. Herman Hulse blamed the increasingly challenging industry, rising development costs, and changing player behavior as a reason for shuttering the Demon's Souls remake studio. Ah yes, the player behavior. You have been blamed for not buying bad games for like 7 times already this year. Anyways, reading on. In an email sent to the staff that Kotaku obtained, Hulse praised some projects that are doing well, like Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Helldivers 2, and MLB The Show. However, when it came to the Texas-based studio Bluepoint Games, Hulse explained that certain factors were making it harder to build games sustainably. Please allow me to first enlighten you about the certain factors that were supposedly making it harder to build games sustainably. Brain-dead leadership. In other words, people like Hulse himself. They are the ones who put all the talented devs at Bluepoint into making a live service God of War game, which they then had to cancel, wasting all the time and money for nothing. Sony could have had Bluepoint remake the original God of War trilogy instead, which not to mention would have probably been extremely profitable for them. So closing down Bluepoint Studios is not just dumb, it's fundamentally stupid. Especially while that New Horizon live service game, whose name I can't even remember, is still in active development. I mean, what the f***? On top of that, they justified their stupidity by pulling a Ubisoft on us and blaming everything else, the market and the gamers, instead of just admitting that no one wants to play these garbage games. Almost all the live service games have been failing left and right. Skull and Bones, Redfall, Suicide Squad, Anthem, Avengers, X-Defiant, Hyperscape, Concord, and I'm still probably missing a few, but all these games have failed and died miserably. The last entry to this graveyard is right in front of you.
Highguard.
The so-called new breed of shooter that was free to play and still failed. But for what it's worth, at least Jeff Keighley loved it. Now yes, of course, he has every right to like and promote whatever he wants, but I have every right to judge whatever he likes and promotes, especially since he was expecting an apology as well. If someone says they enjoyed playing Highguard, I have to assume it's the first game they've ever played in their entire life. But anyways, let's not get distracted here. The point is, the examples are right there in front of you. The writing on the wall has never been more clear. The studio behind Logard, gutted. The studio behind Concord, dead. Ubisoft is getting gutted in real time. Arcane Studios is dead. BioWare is MIA. Rocksteady, the studio that gave us the legendary Batman Arkham series, is basically on life support.
What's not to understand?
Now when you think about it, Crimson Desert isn't just the inverse of Highguard, it's the inverse of the entire goddamn AAA industry. So at this point, it's not just about if this game delivers. For what it stands for, it has to deliver. And I sincerely hope it does, because I can already feel the shockwaves this game's gonna send across the entire industry. Crimson Desert will be compared to every upcoming major release, just like Red Dead 2 has been compared to everything for the past 8 years. IGN made a 15-minute long video talking about how it's wrong to compare RDR2 to other games, and to be honest, I don't completely disagree. It's extremely stupid comparing RDR2 to games like Mafia: The Old Country or Expedition 33 for obvious reasons, of course. But would I compare RDR2 to something like AC Shadows? Absolutely. So yes, it would make perfect sense to compare Crimson Desert to other AAA games like Fable, Witcher 4, Elder Scrolls 6, or even The Outer Worlds 2. Especially since Microsoft thought that the game was worth $80, but anyways. I won't be surprised hearing stuff like, well, why doesn't Fable have this XYZ thing, Crimson Desert had it? So one thing's for certain, this game poses a serious threat to the Western AAA games, and I can already see the game journals working on their hit pieces and smearing campaigns against it. In fact, IGN, the same people who gave Dragon Age the Veilguard a 9, Concord a 7 and Highguard a 7 as well, while defending it like their lives depended on it, they recently tried to manufacture skepticism around Crimson Desert for no reason whatsoever, pointing out things that wouldn't even be a conversation if it were a Ubisoft game. I think they were itching to tear it apart, they just didn't have anything solid to go on. Because these people simply cannot stand a game that caters to the real gamers. And not gonna lie, I can't wait to see them lose their minds on how beautiful the girl looks. But anyways, do let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? Will Crimson Desert be the game that reshapes the entire AAA industry, or will it end up being a whole lot of nothing? Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to use the hype feature as well so the video can reach more people and my little channel blows up. Thanks for watching, until next time, take care.